Hi everyone, it's May. It's such a beautiful time of year when things are growing and blooming, and I love to draw some of the things I see. I've always enjoyed drawing because I realize that when I draw something, I have a special and different and new relationship to whatever it is that I've drawn. So drawing things that are growing outside is especially fun. They usually hold still pretty well, and even on a breezy day. And so I want to show you some techniques I use when I'm doing illustrations of botanical things, such as this flower here that I'm drawing. I started with a really light, not an outline, but just a light yellow line to show me sort of where this tulip is on my paper. And now I've gone over it a little bit darker with an undercoating of yellow so that it has sort of a light behind it. And you'll see that I'm using lots of layers. I'm layering up the colors rather than just saying to myself, oh, there's a green stem and drawing a green stem, or there's a leaf and just drawing it in solid green. You'll see that I'm using many different colors. And sometimes those colors might be a surprising color to you if you're looking at the shading and where the shadows should go and what colors might help that to stand out. And if you really look at what you're drawing, you'll notice that there might be really nuances of color that you might not have noticed before. And you'll see what I was just doing on my scratch paper was trying that out. I took the lavender and layered it over the green to see if it created just the right color that I wanted, and it did, so I used it on my flower drawing. Now I've gone up to the blossom, and it's this beautiful orange tulip blossom, but there are many layers, so I've got the yellow underneath, and then I'm going over it right now with some orange, some of the lighter orange. But again, I'm layering up many different colors, so there will be a darker orange coming in too, and then a very different color to help with the shadowing. And I keep looking up at the flower and then looking back down at my paper because I want to make sure that I'm drawing what I'm seeing, not what I think I'm seeing and not what I think I'm remembering. And that way I'm really seeing every little bit of this tulip and how it's shaped and every little tiny detail of it. And it's this beautiful open blossom, like a big cup with the pistil and stamen inside on a really dark, deep spot in the middle. So I'll be layering up these orange colors before I go into drawing the middle of it. And you'll see that even though tulip stems are rather straight, they're not exactly perfectly straight. So you'll see there's a little bit of a bend to it, especially gives it a little bit more of a realistic look rather than just a solid straight line that lots of people will often do when they're drawing a tulip. So now I'm working on that inner part, and so I've got a dark brown, and now as I'm doing some of the shadowing, I've got that darker reddish orange color too. And again, I keep looking up at the flower. I'm separating out the petals with some of the darker shadowing. And then I've even taken some of the purple to do some of that shadowing with. It seems to work well with both the blossoms and the leaves and stem, even though they're two very different colors. And so I recommend using scratch paper so that you can try it out. Make sure that it does what you want it to do before you actually do it on your flower. It's a really nice time of year. There might be a mom or two in your life or another special person that you could make a botanical illustration for. Maybe if you make it small enough on cardstock, you could make a nice card for it. And especially in this time when you might not be able to see as many people as you would like, you could mail it to them. And I'm sure it would really brighten somebody's day. For the background, when I do botanical illustrations, as much as I'm trying to draw what I see, I like to not follow that rule for the background, because this tulip has all kinds of other plants growing around it, and if I drew them, it would take your attention away from the tulip and you wouldn't really see it so well. Plus it would be a lot more work. So I'm just doing a really nice light background so that it really still helps for the tulip to really stand out, yet give it a little bit of color around it. There have been many times when I've done a lesson with children, and as much as I say, it's okay, just do some light coloring in the background, they sort of forget and they get very creative and do rainbows and all kinds of things, and then we just lose the ability to really see that beautiful blossom that the student has just made. So just try to just be really light-handed with your background, not take the attention away from your flower or whatever it is that you've drawn. So I've got this very light yellow background, and I think it helps to actually make the flower pop a little bit to have that color. And it's also nice to give it a little bit of a grounding so it doesn't look like it's floating in air, so I'll give a little bit of color at the bottom of it as well. Put some green in there in a minute. You could draw anything that you see around you using a lot of these same techniques. And you'll see, here we go with the green, you'll see my pencil stroke, I try to be light and layer the colors rather than drawing darkly, and I really like to make sure that you don't see so many lines in between it. So you can see I'm sort of moving in a little bit of a circular motion with my pencil, nice and lightly. That actually has a name, it's called scumbling, and it's a nice technique for helping to make the color a little bit more evenly distributed and not just these lines that you can see. So that helps to anchor that flower a little. And I'm using some blue to give a little bit more shadowing, both on the blossom and on the leaves and stem. Really look at what you're drawing to see where the shadows fall. That can be really helpful in making something look really more realistic and successful. So there you are. I hope you use some of these techniques. Head outside, wherever you live, where you might find even a little branch that's budding, and draw what you see and have fun with it, and let us know how it goes. Hope you have a lot of fun.